Bryce Young not back. How about that one? Yesterday, we didn't have a show. I wasn't expecting to come back and have Bryce Young not practicing. Bryce Young needs a lot of things, right? And as the career goes on for a hopefully franchise quarterback, you start to need less and less, right? Early in Patrick Mahomes' career, he needed Tyreek Hill, he needed Travis Kelce, he needed this, he needed that, he needed all of. Now he doesn't need Tyreek Hill as much, he doesn't need Travis Kelce as much, he doesn't need offensive line as much, right? They're able to pull things back. At the beginning of your career, you need a lot. Bryce Young needs more help from his teammates, needs wide receivers to get open, needs better play calling, needs more creativity and surprise and play design. But more so than any of that, more than he needs help from his teammates, more than he needs help from his coaches, more than he needs open wide receivers or wins, he needs to be on the field. He needs reps. He needs reps. He needs reps. Frank Reich, his head coach, addressing Bryce Young's injury.
Obviously, I know you got the injury report. I'll address the obvious that, Bryce was listed as a projected DNP due to an ankle. So, we'll see how he is tomorrow. But that's all the update I have for you right now.
I'm sorry, what? Because here's the thing. We didn't have a show yesterday, right? But we did have a show. I wasn't on it. Paul Bryan stepped in, did a great job. But I hosted the show on Tuesday, okay? I didn't talk about Bryce Young's ankle. Now, why would I have not talked about Bryce Young's ankle, even though I watched every snap of their Monday Night Football game? Because I didn't see him get hurt. I didn't see him hobbling. I mean, if this guy walked off the field and winced, if he just looked like, I'm hurt, if he took one unsure step, it would have been big news. We would have talked about it on Tuesday, but we didn't do that. I went back and watched every play. Couldn't really find any instances of him looking hobbled at all. On his last play, the final play he had was a 2-point conversion. He sprints to his right, slams on the brake, cuts back to his left, throws an off-balance ball to Adam Thielen, good for the 2-point conversion. I saw no indicator of pain or injury in the least. Frank Reich on if he knows how his quarterback got hurt.
How did he get hurt, Frank?
Don't know the exact play.
And what would you say his chances are?
Don't know the answer to that right now. We'll see how he is tomorrow.
You don't know the exact play. Even if you didn't see it, guess what I'm doing?
Film.
I'm asking.
Film room.
When did it happen? I'm going to the trainer. When did it happen? A lot of times, how the injury happens can help diagnose what it is, right? I remember walking into film in college, right? Just kind of like, hey, I want to watch some film. Walk into one of our film rooms, one of our film bays, and there would be like the head trainer, the assistant trainer, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and they'd be going back to watch a play from practice or a game that somebody got hurt on, so they can explain, see how his knee bends this way. This is what we think happened. This is why the recovery time is X, Y, and Z expected. So even if he didn't see it, even if he didn't jog off the field saying, hey, tapping his helmet, I need to come out, as soon as you find out he's hurt, you need to do all of the research you possibly can. So when did Frank Reich find out about Bryce Young's injury? Again, he addressed it with the media.
When did you find out that Bryce was hurt?
Monday night, just heard that he had been in for treatment, but and then it wasn't until Tuesday. Tuesday I knew he, I don't think much of the Monday night treatment thing. Just say, okay, I see the injury report and see who came in for treatment, and then just kind of, I don't make much of it until it's 24 hours later. Next day, let's see how they respond, and then he was still on there. So,
okay, let's rewind aggressively here, Frank. I didn't mean that. I don't. Calling a coach by their first name, like it should be Frank Reich, right? Just respect. let's rewind here aggressively, Frank Reich. You can disregard the Monday night training report for everyone except Bryce Young. If you find out that Frankie Louvu went in to get a little extra ice on his shoulder, fine. If Miles Sanders went in there and asked to get somebody to look at it, a bruise on his calf, fine.
He was injured preseason. You're thinking, okay.
Just those guys, they're not as important to your franchise. Unfortunately, don't say it to their face. They play a position with more contact, and if they miss a game, they're veterans. Bryce Young, if it pops up, he went in there for a Band-Aid because he bit his nails too deep and he had a little cuticle bleed, then you go in there and you go, all right, what's going on here? You bring your quarterbacks coach. Where's Josh McCown? Let's talk with Bryce. Let's get it figured out. Let's make sure we know what's going on because he's that darn important. Now we sitting out walkthroughs yesterday, sitting out practice today. That is more concerning than any form of bad play. That's more concerning than any turnover. That's more concerning than any bad read or interception he threw. Not because he's hurt and it's career end. No, because good rookies, bad rookies, middle of the pack rookies that are playing a lot, rookies that are not working their way into the starting lineup, they all have something in common. They need reps. Practice reps, they need them. Walkthrough reps, they need them. Game reps, if you can afford to put them in there and it doesn't ruin your team philosophy or your team goals, they need them. He needs to see everything not once, not twice, 100 times. That's where you get to being a veteran, right? We're going to talk with KJ Wright, or we're going to play a conversation I had with KJ Wright later on in the show. KJ Wright, member of the Legion of Boom, 10-year member of the Seattle Seahawks. And one of the things we discuss is everybody remembers that legendary mic'd up moment with Cam Newton, where it was him and Clay Matthews, I believe, were yelling at each other, and Clay Matthews said, "Watch the arrow. The running back's coming out. The running back's coming out."
You been watching film?
Yeah.
And watch this.
Exactly. Cam Newton goes, "Oh, you watch film? I watch film too. Watch this." So I go, and then it's a fake out, and he comes back on the inside, touchdown Christian McCaffrey. That doesn't happen your rookie year. That happens when you've been in that chess match 100 times, and you know what the defense is looking for, and you know what this defensive coordinator does against you, that defensive coordinator does against you, this defensive player does against you, and you can be so confident that you're like teasing them with it. That only comes with reps. You don't learn that with mental reps. You don't learn that standing behind the play. That only comes with reps. So, I've said this all along. This year's not about winning for the Panthers. If it was, we would have seen things like DeAndre Hopkins on the team. They would have made more win-now moves. If this season was about winning, making the playoffs, they would have done more of that. This season is about Bryce Young's development, and the only way that happens is if he's on the field, on the practice field, to develop. He needs to play. Needs to. And injuries are a problem. And I don't like the laissez-faire attitude of the coaching staff and Frank Reich in particular when talking about that injury.